Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be drinking water, but I'll also be addressing something that I've had a lot of friends ask me and an observation that I've come to draw in the time that I've been living here in Australia. And that's the difference between Australia and Kenya, or rather Australians and Kenyans. So, number one, our cultural differences are glaring. For example, we look after aged parents or grandparents at home. Yes, we have a few aged care homes in Kenya, but they're not as dominant as they are here in Australia. The aged care ministry or facet of the government is really big here because people can't afford to look after their parents at home, so because it's expensive to pay people to come and do that, and everyone needs to work, and so most of the people, when they get old, they get sent off to aged care. So that's one difference as opposed to being home, where society is very tight and we either look after our old family members ourselves or hire someone to do it, but in the confines of our homes. So in Kenya, the social net isn't that strong, meaning if you don't work, if you don't work, you will starve. You will die of hunger. In Australia, that can happen, but it's very rare because the government has got a tight safety net over its people, meaning people get stuff like unemployment benefits and things like single mothers money, some kind of fee that they get. So there's that's also another difference that is very predominant. So it means that its citizens are taken care of, and the ones in Kenya are not gonna say not taken care of, but basically you look after yourself and the government isn't that involved. Okay, the other difference is religion. Believe it or not, even though one of the biggest churches in the world, Hillsong, is an Australian church or was founded in Australia or is big in Australia and influential, Australians are not really religious. Of the people I've been with and met, there's only a very small percentage of people that I've met who actually go to church or even want to go to church. So there's that difference. Time to sip water. And in Kenya, on the other hand, most of us are religious. If you don't go to church, you know many people around you who go to church, or you grew up going to church, or you're an active member of church. So that's also another difference in religion. Really is different from Kenya and Australia. The similarities are actually very many. And number one is I find Australians to be really friendly, which is what Kenyans are known for. Kenyans are friendly. We talk to people. We are just warm inside. And that's the same thing with Australians. Australians will talk to you wherever, they say hi to you in the morning. They are warm people, as opposed to some places where you go and nobody finds time to even start or initiate a conversation. So Australians are warm people. Australians are also like Kenyans in the manner of partying, because Kenyans love partying and Australians are the same. They love going out and having fun, and they are big drinkers just like Kenyans are. They love their alcohol, they love their booze, they love barbecue, nyama choma, which is what we call it in Kenya. They love barbecuing their meat. It's just they're actually a bit too much when it comes to barbecue, because the barbecue anything and everything. In Kenya, we only just barbecue meat, not so much the other stuff. But Australians are big barbecue people. Australians are also very sporty. They are probably a bit more than Kenyans are. So they've got their own sort of football types. So they've got Australian League, and they've got soccer, and they've got rugby. They've got a lot of sports that they do here, just like in Kenya. The only slight difference is that Australians are very much water sports people. So they love going to the water. There's seaboarding and all of that, and they're really big on that, which is something that I haven't seen a lot of Kenyans engage in. Living here in Melbourne, is the weather is horrible. I do not like it. It's summer now, thank God we can wear light clothes, but I still prefer the weather at home in Kenya because it's moderate temperatures. So basically, you don't have to dress so heavily in what we call winter in Kenya, which is not really winter, to be honest. But you don't have to wear like a million garments to keep warm, as opposed to the weather here in Melbourne. The winters can be painful. Yes, it doesn't snow, but it's just hard. It's just hard. The weather isn't that good here. I don't like it. The summers are too hot. It's basically both extremes. But the weather in Kenya is just perfect. You're up in the morning, it's cool at night, so you can be able to get a good night's sleep. And during the day is a nice, warm, sunny day. And most of Nairobi, for example, doesn't exceed the temperature of 27 on most days. So the weather is another thing, at least here in Melbourne. I think in West Australia is different, and in New South Wales is different. But in Melbourne, the weather is a pain. It is a pain. In the same breath, I've had people ask, what are the things that make Australians Aussies, or what makes them them? Because everyone's got something in them that differentiates them from the rest of the world. So Australians have this big thing where they call each other mate. So hi mate, it's like their way of saying, greeting each other. They call each other mate. They've got slogans like good day, how's it going, no worries. So that's kind of the slogans they use every day, that separates them from the rest of the world. So they've got this thing called Vegemite, which tastes so bad. It's basically a bread spread, and you put it on bread and eat that. I personally wouldn't touch that. But they've got that thing, and it's like really big here. They love it. They really enjoy having it. So Australia is famous for its creepy little creatures. Actually, not little, big creatures. It's famous for its snakes. It's famous for its crocodiles. Anything that slithers, everything that crawls, everything that climbs, they are really, it's a typical Australian trademark, if I must say. So their spiders are big. Some of them are as big as the size of your fist, believe it or not. Like the houndsman is notorious for being so big, and they show up in like damp or dark places. That you have to be careful, because a houndsman might just be somewhere there. And they've got all these creatures that I personally find very, very creepy, like the blue-tongued lizard, which literally has a blue tongue. And the other day, my partner was showing me a snail, a pink snail. So they've got all these sorts of weird things. They've got something called goanna, just all those creepy things. You find them here. you will find them in Australia. And yes, we've got our big snakes in Kenya, but I don't think we've got all these little creepy looking creatures that I see in this country. Yeah, so Australia is famous for kangaroos and koalas, and it's possums and stuff. And I find them very cute because they're not harmless. I mean, they are harmless. Sorry, they are harmless. They won't hurt you. Of course, anything that you provoke will definitely fight back, but the natural tendency is to just run away. Kangaroos and the koalas, really cute, and they just stay away from you. So they're cute in that way, as opposed to being in Kenya where a lion will eat you alive. Yes, Australians are also really big on dressing down. Basically, I don't even know if that's part of dressing down, but they love their shorts and their flip-flops and a t-shirt, and they're good to go. Which, when I came here, I used to find that a bit funny, because in Kenya we like to dress up. We want to dress up and dress really well, and then you come here and the dressing is like, oh, like several times I've asked my partner, so you're just gonna go out like that? Because that's just how they do. They just, excuse me, that's just how they do. They just rock up, flip-flop, shorts, t-shirts, and they're good to go. So that's about it, guys. I hope that I've given you a little sneak peek of what it's like to live here and the culture that makes Australians Australians, and the differences between Australians and Kenyans. And I will see you soon. Take care.